what happened out there between you and Isaiah.
Why did you say something else over there or something?
No, I don't know. I haven't gone over there yet.
Yeah, no. Just you know, it happens. It's part of the game. So it's just part of the game.
You said on the radio that this is not the first time that you guys have sort of.
Ironically, we played AAU together. We've been on the same AAU team together. So it's stupid, but you know, it happens.
Oh, I don't like him in the store. He's a fake tough guy.
Why don't you?
Is that from before? Is that college? Is that AAU? What is that? How far does it go back?
He knows.
He knows.
He knows.
Why don't you like it?
Because I don't. That's why.
He didn't say that he didn't like you. He just said you guys played together.
That's fine.
Beef in the building. Celtics win 99-89. This is the Garden Report on Celtics blog and CLNS Radio. Jimmy Toscano from Celtics blog. That's the name of the guy that is sitting next to me. Jared Weiss from CLNS Radio. That's the name of the guy talking right now. Beef edition of the Garden Report.
Yes.
It got a little frisky after the game there. The Celtics, they win it 99-89. Jared Sullinger with a career-high 31 points and 15 rebounds to go with that. Gerald Wallace almost records his first career triple-double. And DeMarcus Cousins is pretty beastly, but not as beastly as Jared Sullinger. But first...
Don't forget Kelly Olynyk. He had a good start to the game.
I would never forget Kelly.
Okay, good.
I would never forget that.
He was my first half player of the game, and then Sully took over in the second half.
He had 11 points and 9 rebounds. It was a good game for him, but I want to stick to the script. You saw the beef that went down after the game. Jerryd Bayless during the game.
Beef.
Yeah.
You said that word.
Hashtag Garden Report beef. I'm getting paid every time I say beef by Omaha Steaks. So not true, in case we get sued.
Omaha.
So Jerryd Bayless on the ground gives a little bit of a shove to Isaiah Thomas.
It looked like Thomas was kind of standing over him a little bit, like pretending he wasn't, but he was.
And that was something that Bayless did a few plays before that to Ben McLemore after blocking McLemore from behind on that fast break.
Yes.
A lot of mean mugging from Bayless throughout his kind of hot streak in the second half. By the way, he had a great game tonight.
He
had 4 threes in a row there.
He was in the zone, you know. Sometimes you get in that zone and you just start looking at people funny, like, what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? I think maybe he got a little caught up in his own production. But yeah, he had the chase down block, sort of LeBron James style on Ben McLemore. McLemore hit the floor, and Bayless didn't stand over him, but he kind of stood there for a minute to, you know, just...
Oh, he flexed at him.
Yeah.
He flexed at him.
Yeah, he made sure that McLemore knew. He made sure that he knew that he was, like, standing next to him. Made sure
and
he knew
Ryan
that he
Lewis.
just got blocked.
And Ryan Lewis.
And Ryan Lewis. Terrible. That was really dumb of me to say that. But then, yeah, after that, then on the other end, Isaiah Thomas must have caught wind of what went on down there, and he sort of stood over Bayless, and Bayless didn't like it, pushed him, and then we got a little, believe it or not, DeMarcus Cousins breaks it up out of all people. You know
it's a crazy world in Sacramento now.
Yeah, so was it anything? No, it was double text, which is probably the best thing you could have done in that situation. It wasn't worthy of an ejection or a flag or anything stupid like that. But after the game, I mean, you wanna show them that? Did we show them the highlights?
We already showed them.
We showed them the highlights. Okay, yeah. I thought it was interesting that Bayless sort of took the high road and he didn't want to start anything. He kind of was like, "What did he say?" He was like, "Wait, what did he say? Something about me?" And we were like, "Oh, we don't know yet. We haven't gone there yet." But
he knew something was going to happen.
Yeah,
clearly.
He kind of when he said that, you kind of got the impression that okay, these guys don't like each other, even though he's not going to say that. And then sure enough, Thomas was like, "I don't like him. Fake tough guy." So I mean, I don't know Bayless. I don't know if he's a fake tough guy. But them two, they say they played together in AAU, so they obviously go way back. I'm sure there's been some heated battles on the court and maybe off the court. I don't know.
Well, Jared said that they knew each other from AAU as if that was like a reason that they would have a bond.
Right.
While Isaiah said it kind of the other way. That's how they have a long established.
Which when you think about it, like not everyone, you don't love every one of your teammates, especially these guys. They play basketball year round. You know what I mean? There's definitely going to be players that they run into that they don't like, and maybe these two guys were at one point competing for the same job, the same position, the same starting spot, and it got extra heated. We don't know, but clearly it's one of those little personal rivalries or battles that whatever you want to call it between these two guys, and yeah, I mean, it makes it for a little more interesting, I guess.
Well, something that made it interesting was Jared Sullinger. He had a little bit of a game, career high 31 points.
Let's not forget the actual basketball.
Yeah. So he had the kind of putbacks under the rim, the low post game, but he also had that kind of fadeaway high post game, hit the threes. He did absolutely
a little bit of everything. Yeah.
He did absolutely everything in his arsenal offensively tonight.
And against a guy who, in my opinion, should be in the All-Star game. Let's be real. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins is an All-Star.
It's more of a process of elimination, him not making it.
Right. Do you think he should have made it over Anthony Davis?
No.
No.
That's really tough.
It is tough. It is tough.
There's definitely a bias in the media towards Davis. There's no question about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Davis has a much. Davis has a more well-rounded impact, but you see that Cousins is one of the most dominant low post players in basketball.
I mean, if you're going to start a team, I think you would pick Davis over
question.
Cousins, but Cousins is right up there. I'm saying like maybe top 10 guys that you would.
And the All-Star game is how you played in the first half of the season.
Right.
It's not who you'd start a franchise.
Absolutely, I know. But anyways, we're getting
so Jabari Parker would have been an All-Star this year if that's how it was.
We're getting way off topic, I guess. The point is, Sullinger did it. He didn't do it against some schmuck, is my point. I mean, he had a really great game against another great player. And to see that out of a guy who's in his second year, he hasn't even played a full 82 games yet, unless he's getting...
He's close. He's right around there.
Okay.
It's not already
Point
there.
is, he had a shortened rookie year. But he's taken on that extra load that Stevens has been talking about. Like, this is the opportunity. Stevens said, like, he said after the game, fair or not, they need him to play this way. Which is true. I mean, they wouldn't have won tonight if he didn't go off in the second half like that. I'm sure that the Kings would have maybe taken over a little bit there, and Cousins maybe would have done even more than he did. But it just goes to show that how talented this guy is. And somebody asked after the game, what is his ceiling? And Stevens said the sky's the limit, which I think is true. The only thing standing in the way of Sullinger is his health, or his conditioning, or himself. And I don't think he's that type of guy that's going to let himself go ever. He seems like not only does he want the best for himself, but he's got sort of a lot of people looking over him, sort of making sure that he doesn't screw around. So I really think that this guy's he's a keeper. I mean, more so than I think anyone else in the Celtics, including Rondo.
He doesn't seem like an Oliver Miller or Stanley Roberts type. Those are two guys that were in terrible shape, and it kind of got worse over the years. But he talks so much about his dad and his older brothers hammering all these things home with him. He even mentioned tonight how if there's ever anything that he needs to improve on down the road, his dad will be the first one to let him know.
Yeah.
But this is like the obvious one, is his conditioning. It hasn't seemed to be a major issue for him so far in his career, because he seems to really turn it on in the fourth quarter, which is when conditioning would be an issue. It's a matter of injury.
Right. I mean, the conditioning is something that needs to improve, but the way he's built, I mean, you kind of want him to stay similarly built that way, because he's not the tallest guy out there. I mean, he's going to get...
6'7", as Stevens put it. He said 6'8".
Yeah. I think he's a little taller than 6'7".
I think he's 6'8".
Yeah. But even if you're 6'8", I mean, you're going up with guys that are 6'9", 6'10", 7 feet. I mean, you're going to need that extra weight to we always talk about it, to use the behind and box people out and get positioning. So that part of his game, I think he needs to stay. But yeah, the conditioning, it's only going to get better as far as I'm concerned. Being around the team, being around the Celtics. So the longer you are, the older you get, the more mature you are in taking care of your body. And I think that that's going to just come with time.
All right. Well, great use of the word mensch earlier. My bubby would be very proud of you. And before we go tonight, or in this part of the show, let's quickly address Phil Pressey. He's passing the ball so well right now.
He is.
And there's not a huge difference in the types of passes he can make between what he and Rondo are doing out there. Rondo's more consistent. Right. He can get into space and make the play better, obviously. He's Rashawn Rondo. But Pressey's making a lot of those plays, and he had some unbelievable passes tonight. And they're able to run a similar type of offense when Rondo takes his games off. And that's really allowing them to have some continuity and allow Rondo to comfortably take the games off.
Yeah, I agree. I was just going to say that. I mean, similar style. Obviously, they're not in the same,
caliber.
Right, exactly. But like you said, I mean, his court vision is beyond where it probably should be at this stage in his career. I mean, this is a guy who wasn't...
First half of his rookie season.
I mean, this guy wasn't drafted. Exactly. That said, his court vision needs to be pretty good, because his shots are not really falling that well right now. I mean, he had a couple shots that went down tonight. But overall, aside from that one big game he had in place of Rondo again, he's kind of struggled from the field. So I think that the more he can do passing the ball and the little things like that, the more playing time he's going to get.
And let's just acknowledge Jeff Green had 20 field goal attempts and only 17 points tonight.
You know what, though? That's not a good number, but
it's a terrible number.
It's not a good number at
all.
God-awful
number.
But he was aggressive out there more so than he's been in other games, for sure. And especially early on in the game, I saw him attacking the hoop a lot. Those games are gonna happen. You don't want him to stop shooting, because then we'll get on. He only took 8 shots tonight. Like, this isn't the guy that wants to play. Yeah, like that's a bad shooting night. But you like to see the aggressiveness, and clearly they knew who to give it to down the stretch. It was Sullinger that was doing a lot more in the second half. So.
All right, well, part 2 coming up. We have enabled the playlist feature finally on the YouTube embeds. So you can finally go from one video to the next.
Yes.
So part 2 coming up.